I hadn't been back to Ethan's house in nearly 3 years. He'd moved out right after college, and life, as it often does, scattered us in different directions. But when he texted last week, "Hey, man, Mom's been asking about you. Stop by sometime?" I figured it was time. Ethan's mom, Mrs. Porter, had been like a second mother to me growing up. She used to make us grilled cheese sandwiches after school, scold us for tracking mud through her kitchen, and sit up late watching over us when we crammed for exams. She had one of those gentle, motherly smiles that made every scolding feel like care. But I wasn't prepared for what I saw when she opened the door that afternoon. Her hair, once a glossy auburn, had gone gray. Her eyes, though kind, seemed tired, too tired. The house that once buzzed with warmth and chatter now echoed with silence. "Mrs. Porter," I said softly, "it's been too long." She smiled faintly. "Oh, Luke, it's so good to see you." Before I could step inside, she whispered, almost as if afraid of being overheard. "We're alone." Something in her tone made me pause. It wasn't a confession. It was a statement of fact, lonely, fragile, and echoing. I managed a small smile. "Just for a little while," I said. "If that's okay." Her eyes welled up. "That's more than okay, dear." We sat in the living room, sunlight filtering through half-closed blinds. The smell of old books and lemon polish filled the air. "You know, Ethan's doing well in Chicago," she said, almost to herself. "Busy, of course. He calls when he remembers." I nodded. "Yeah, that's Ethan. Still allergic to phone calls." She chuckled softly, but her voice broke halfway through. "He was always like that, full of life, always running ahead. But when the running stops, sometimes it gets quiet around here." The silence that followed wasn't comfortable. It was the kind that carried weight, the kind that hides behind smiles. I looked around the room. Family photos lined the mantel, but all of them were old. No new frames. No recent memories. "When was the last time you had company, Mrs. Porter?" I asked gently. "Oh," she waved it off. "Neighbors stop by sometimes. Church folks drop casseroles when they remember." She gave a little laugh. "I suppose I'm good company for myself." Her attempt at humor only deepened the ache in my chest. I offered to make tea, and while she protested, I insisted. The kitchen hadn't changed, same yellow curtains, same chipped mug with the "World's Best Mom" logo. While the kettle boiled, I noticed a calendar pinned to the fridge. Every day was marked with something, small notes like, "Take meds, call Ethan, water plants." But the last few weeks were blank. No calls. No notes. Nothing. We spent the afternoon reminiscing about Ethan's clumsy teenage years, our failed science projects, the time we broke her garden hose pretending to be firefighters. Her laughter came easier then, and for a moment, I saw the old spark in her eyes. But when I stood to leave, she grabbed my hand, gently, yet with surprising strength. "Luke," she whispered again, "thank you for coming. You have no idea how much it means, to just not be alone for a while." I hesitated, heart tight. "You don't have to be, Mrs. Porter." "Not really." She smiled sadly. "Oh, honey, people always say that. But when the door closes, and the house gets quiet again, you realize how heavy silence can be." That hit me hard. I sat back down. "Then let's not close the door just yet," I said softly. That night, we ordered pizza. I fixed the leaky faucet she'd mentioned months ago. We watched one of Ethan's old favorite movies, Back to the Future. She laughed at every scene like it was the first time. For a few hours, time didn't matter. She wasn't the lonely widow whose son had moved states away. And I wasn't the busy adult who'd forgotten where he came from. We were just two people, sharing space, memories, and quiet that didn't feel heavy anymore. When I finally stood to go, she followed me to the door. "You really stayed longer than I expected," she said with a soft smile. I looked back at her. "Maybe I needed it as much as you did." She reached out, touching my arm. "Come back soon." "I will," I promised. "Next week. And maybe I'll bring Ethan on a video call." She blinked fast, her eyes glistening. "That would be wonderful." As I stepped outside, the air felt colder, but lighter somehow. Loneliness is strange. It hides behind polite smiles, behind phrases like, "I'm fine," or, "Don't worry about me." But sometimes, all it takes is an hour, a visit, or a conversation to make someone feel seen again. That night, I texted Ethan. "Your mom's a gem. Don't forget to call her tomorrow." He replied with a thumbs-up emoji. Typical Ethan. But a few days later, he sent me a message I didn't expect. "Hey, bro." I called her. She sounded happy. Said you reminded her what warmth feels like. Thanks for that. I smiled at the screen, realizing something simple but powerful. Kindness doesn't need grand gestures. Sometimes it's just showing up. Mrs. Porter had whispered, "We're alone." And maybe she was. But not anymore. Moral. Sometimes the smallest act of presence can heal the deepest loneliness. You don't have to change someone's life to make it brighter, just be there.